Hello friends, and welcome back. Today's video is a little different. We won't be visiting historical monuments, but instead, we're going to a place I've wanted to visit for a long time, an airfield. I'll show you some interesting things and tell you a bit about its history. The airfield is called Wellesbourne Airfield. It was originally a Royal Air Force base, but today it's a civil airfield that's home to about 70 to 80 small aircraft. There are several flight schools here, as well as a shop and a service center for small helicopters. So, dear friends, put on your flight goggles, fasten your seatbelts, and let's take off. As I mentioned, there are several flight schools at the airfield, but the one that attracts me the most is the South Warwickshire School of Flying. That's because on their grounds, or in that corner of the airfield where the school is located, there's a big point of interest, a parked Avro Vulcan bomber. It's one of only 3 remaining examples of this aircraft. The Avro Vulcan was the backbone of the British bomber fleet from 1956 until 1984. As I said, Vulcan number XM655 is one of 3 surviving aircraft. One is supposedly still maintained in flying condition, although it hasn't flown in 10 years. The other 2 are capable of taxiing on the airfield under their own power, and you're looking at one of them. They take it out on the runway once or twice a year for an air show held here. However, about 2 years ago, things got a bit out of control, and the Vulcan overran the end of the runway. The bomber narrowly avoided being destroyed. In the pictures, you can see how close it was to disaster. The aircraft stopped just a few meters from a ditch at the edge of a busy road. Fortunately, everything turned out fine, and the bomber was returned to its station. I ran over there today to see it. The people at the flight school were kind enough to let me get close to it. Normally, tours of the bomber are only possible on Saturdays, but they let me in, and I had the chance to see it up close. I was able to film some shots for you, walk underneath its belly, and see just how massive the aircraft is. The plane is truly impressive. Its wingspan is over 30 meters, its length is similar, and it weighs over 40 tons. It could carry almost 10 tons of conventional bombs or a single nuclear warhead. It had a crew of 5 and could reach a speed of 927 kilometers per hour, which is almost the speed of sound. Well, we've seen the Vulcan and learned a bit about it. Now, let's walk around the airfield a bit longer and talk about its history. As I mentioned, the airfield is home to about 80 small private planes. However, some rare birds visit occasionally. Spitfires and Mustangs land here, and I've even seen a Hawker Sea Fury. There's also a small cafe at the airfield with a very good reputation. They supposedly serve excellent food. I don't know, I haven't eaten here, so I can't confirm it. But it's definitely always full, which is probably a sign that the rumors are true. You can sit inside or on the outdoor terrace, grab some food or a drink, and watch the plane's taxi just a few meters away. Just a few steps from the cafe is a small aviation museum. It has a few interesting planes, but most importantly, it has an exhibit on the history of this airfield. Unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to go inside and film something for you because the museum is run by volunteers and is only open on weekends. So, let's talk a bit about the history. As I mentioned, the airfield was an RAF base. It was built in 1941 when the government bought the land from a local farmer. The 22nd Operational Training Unit was based here, and they trained Wellington bomber crews. During the war, over 9,000 airmen were trained here, mostly from Canada and New Zealand. The airfield was bombed 4 times during the war. Due to the intensive training, accidents and losses were also frequent. More than 300 airmen and ground crew members died here, and 80 were injured. These were mainly due to training accidents, but also during combat missions, as advanced crews also took off from here to raid Germany. The Royal Air Force held this airfield until 1964 when it was decommissioned and the land was sold back to its original owner. The airfield lay fallow for several years, but since 1981, it has served as a private airfield for small aircraft. Today's airfield is considerably smaller than the original RAF base. A large industrial zone and several dozen new houses were built on the rest of the perimeter. The open land between the runways is cultivated, and every Saturday, a large market is held there. It's supposedly the biggest outdoor market in England, and we'll definitely visit it together. One more piece of information. Directly across the road is a nice campsite. So if you're visiting with a campervan or a caravan, you can stay there. It's a great starting point for visiting nearby Stratford or Warwick, and it's also only a few kilometers from the Cotswolds, which has a lot of great places to see. So there you have it, friends. I hope you enjoyed today's trip, that I showed you something interesting, and that you learned something new. If you did, please like the video and share it with your friends. And if you enjoy our videos, please subscribe. We'd love for you to visit interesting places with us. And to make sure you don't miss anything, don't forget to click the bell icon. Take care, be well, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.